Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Don from 1A Auto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And the next time you need a part for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace a front window regulator on this 2004 Volkswagen Jetta. And we show you on the driver's side, but the passenger side is a similar procedure. And the items you need is a new window regulator from 1AAuto.com, flat blade screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, T20 and T30 Torx bits and ratchet, 10mm socket, pliers, drill with a 5/16 drill bit, rivet gun and rivets, and some electrical tape. Start off by prying off this panel inside your pull handle. And now lift your switch panel up and out. And just push the tab on this harness and disconnect it. And then using a Phillips screwdriver, you want to remove these 3 Phillips screws. And we'll just fast forward as Dawn removes those. And at the bottom of your door panel, you want to remove these 3 T20 Torx bolts. And we'll fast forward as Dawn removes those. And then just remove this Phillips screw up here in the top corner of your door panel. Reach in behind the door panel and just pull out to release the clips. And then lift it up and out of the windowsill and over the lock. And then you want to pull back on this clip and lift the hook up and out of the door handle. Push the tab on this harness and release it. And the same for this. Push the tabs on either side of this harness and pull it free. And then just push the tabs on the rest of these harnesses and pull them free. And now your door panel's free. Pull these harnesses from this bracket and you just push the tabs on either side and pull the harnesses free. And you do the same thing for the speaker harness. And for this harness, you want to just pry down the bottom. And when it's pried down enough, the harness will pop free. And you just pull it off. Then pull the harness from these tabs on the door. And you could just pull these clips right out of the door, but they typically break. So we recommend doing it this way and just pulling the harness from them. Now just pull this gasket out. Flip down these 2 rubber covers. And now remove these 3 T30 bolts. And we'll just fast forward as Dawn does this. Now the motor will just pull free. Now that the motor's removed, you can lift the window up by hand. And you want to just lift it up until you can see these clamps on the window right here, and then you want to remove those 2 T20 bolts. Now separate those clamps from the window and pull the window up. And now you want to remove this series of 10mm bolts lining the window regulator. And we'll just fast forward as Dawn removes these. Using a flat blade screwdriver, push the 4 tabs on this clip and push it through the panel. And now you want to lift the panel up and slide it to the outside of the vehicle and then down. Now push the door handle cable through the panel. And then push this tab on the side here up and over the edge of the door. And angle the door panel down, pull the regulator out, and then lift it up and over the lock rod, pushing this gasket through. And now just release this harness by pushing on the tab and pulling it free. Next, remove these two rubber caps. And using a pair of pliers, just pinch the sides of these clips and just pull them free. We'll fast forward as Don does the rest of these. Next, you want to drill out these 4 rivets that hold in your speaker. And we'll just fast forward as Don does this. And it helps to remove that top cover when you do this. Pry the speaker free. On the left is the old window regulator. On the right is the new one from 1A Auto. You can see they're identical and they're going to fit exactly the same.
Reattach the speaker, line it up, make sure that you have the connector for the harness facing up. And we're using rivets to rivet it back together. You can do it this way, or some appropriate size coarse thread or sheet metal bolts will work to attach it as well.
If you removed it, replace the top part of the speaker, and then replace those harness clips. And then remove the packing wire tie, and then push these rubber caps into your new window regulator. Pull this harness back through your regulator panel, pulling that gasket into place. Reclip the harness to the panel, and then reconnect the harness. Push the door handle cable back through the panel. And then put it up over the lock rod and over the gasket. Tuck the regulator back up into the door, making sure your harnesses aren't going to get pinched behind it. And then push it back up into place. And you do want to make sure that you pull your door handle cable gasket back through the panel. And now do the same thing with your lock rod gasket. Pull it back up through and into the panel. And then put this insulation back down over your lock rod if it fell off. And replace those 10mm bolts. And we'll just fast forward as Don does this. Now you want to loosen up these 10mm bolts on your new window clamps. And then you want to make sure that those clamps separate. And now slide your window down into place. And once it's securely in the clamps, just tighten up those bolts. Push those rubber caps back into place. And replace your motor. and replace those 3 T30 bolts. Now reconnect your harnesses. And with your motor harness, make sure that you push that tab back up to lock it. Now if you pulled these clips out with the harness, then you can just push the clips back in. If you pulled the harness from the clips, then you just want to retape them to those clips with some electrical tape. Now to reinstall your door panel, you just want to reconnect these harnesses. And then take your door handle rod and you want to hook it back into the door handle and then slide that clip back into the door handle. And now put the panel up over the lock rod and then down into the windowsill. Make sure you pull your harness for your switch pack up through and then line up the clips and hit them back into the door. And we'll fast forward as Don replaces and tightens up those 3 Phillips screws. Then replace those 3 T20s. And replace that Phillips screw up in the top corner and tighten it up. Now reconnect your switch panel and just push the panel down into place. And then line up this panel and push it firmly into place. And you're all set.
We hope this video helps you out. Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet. Please feel free to call us toll-free, 888-844-3393. We're the company that's here for you on the internet and in person.